Hey, this thing like got a pretty crazy video for you, or some photos. The video was posted by Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. This is some photographs that were sent to them by a man who called himself Liam. And Liam claimed he and some ex-military buddies were out hiking, fishing, camping, Northern California. And late one night, they said this appeared over them, a UFO. And they believe that after they heard a ruckus, this thing here came from the UFO and then scurried off into the trees. So again, all I have to go by are these night vision photographs that they took. But the thing is, I found something pretty interesting that I want to share with you. Oh, and one more thing before we go. You know, in the past decade, when somebody had a file, a link to something they wanted me to check out, there was like 60 places that they would send it to me, you know, like emailing or messaging or whatever. And now with over 2,000 patrons and YouTube members and over 100,000 subscribers, I'll never see a fraction of the stuff people are sending me. And I don't like that. I don't want to miss what you have sent me. And I don't want people thinking that I'm ignoring them or being rude. So please, starting today, if you have something you want to send me, post it on my Team Finger Thugger Facebook group. Because what's amazing, there I have over 2,500 members who, when there's something new, they look at it. They discuss it. They vote it up or don't. And popular things there kind of bubble to the surface. And that's how it gets my attention. So please post things on my Team Finger Thugger Facebook group. If you don't like Facebook, hey, I resisted for years and years and years, but it's the only way to now reach me. So please use it. And if you go out there, you can be part of helping pick which videos I do eventually cover. All right, thanks. Now let's go check out and see if there is anything to this UFO Bigfoot connection here. Okay, so first things first, how big is this thing? Well, since it's not standing directly beside a tree, you know, like a mature tree of a known type or a Volkswagen or something like that, it would be impossible to know how big it is. You know, it could be standing knee deep in 3-foot tall grass or 1-foot tall grass. We just don't know. Now, the guys that photographed it, they thought it was big, if that helps you any. They also said it had a cranial ridge, you know, where its head came up to a point, but size will not be able to come into play for us on this one. Next question is this image even real? You know, is this all like special effects CGI or painted on? And I don't think it is. You know, looking at the background and the grass and the trees, the randomness of it all, I believe the background is real. So what about this guy or gal? It could be a cardboard cutout for all we know. But think about this. Look at these trees up here. Look where the light comes from the left side and the shadows on the right side. And it's the exact same with our mystery beast here. So I seriously doubt that anybody would have been clever enough to say, create a big cardboard cutout of a monster and then got the shadows just right and then waited until the time of day where those shadows would line up with the foliage and trees surrounding it. But the real question is, could our mystery beast here have been painted in or CGI imagery, something like that? Let's check it out. Okay, so first I dropped in this ridiculous looking thing and then I shifted its color to kind of a green hue. And I can tell you, it would take some time messing with this to try to get its colors to match the background perfectly. And now I'm going to show you a little system I've been using for years now to bust hoaxes in like photographs and video and film. I'm going to drop this little filter algorithm in whose job it is to take every single hard edge that it finds and try to put an outline around it. So here we go. Let me back out. All right, watch carefully to see if you notice some difference between the two figures there. How about that? do you notice anything different? And of course you do. The ridiculous thing that I just dropped in, the algorithm, it found the edge that I cut out and it's tattletelling on it by putting in this hot pink thing. And also look at the background of the original photo. All these kind of army green looking swirls and circles and the deep blue swirls and circles and the little green squiggly lines. I consider that a photographs or a video. It's fingerprint. All right. And notice that fingerprint is consistent throughout the entire image, all except for this thing. And notice that inside it has an entirely different looking fingerprint. Whereas if we look at this figure, we see it has the same fingerprint as the background around it. And it also has the same kind of green, bluish and green outline that the leaves and trees do. So whatever this thing is on the right, I believe 100% that it was there when those guys snapped the picture. Now let's measure this guy or gal and see if its proportional DNA matches the Patterson Bigfoot or a human. Because if this thing matches the Patterson Bigfoot, that's going to be pretty ironic, because nobody in the world has seen proportional DNA except for my patrons and my YouTube members, apart from the guy who stole my spectral analysis stuff. He also, I found out, is stealing my proportional DNA stuff and taking that public before, while I was writing my book. The good news is, though, he doesn't have many viewers. So here we go. Here is the skeleton. And here are, and I do this to make sure I've got the joints, make sure I can find where the tailbone area is, and the hip sockets, the knees, and the shoulders. It's a little harder on the knees and elbows here because the arms and legs are bent funny, but here we go. There are the measurements, tailbone, or the torso area, upper arm, forearm, and thigh. And now, drum roll, there is the pDNA. First column is its torso. Second column is its arms. Third column is its legs. Now, we only have one. We have the thigh bar, and the other I had to estimate for the shin, because we obviously don't see the shins. But we know that with the Patterson Bigfoot and with us humans, our shins are roughly the same length as our thighs. So here's the thing. Oh, and by the way, third column is legs. Its torso, arms, and legs are all the same relative length, and that is beyond bizarre, because we humans, our legs are 30% longer. Now here we've got the UFO Bigfoot on the far left. Here in the center, we have human proportional DNA. All of mankind has a torso and arms the same relative length, with legs that are like 30% longer. And the far right, we have the Patterson Bigfoot's measurements, where we see its torso, its arms, and legs are all relatively the same length, plus or minus 3%. So you tell me, which does it match? Which does the UFO Bigfoot match? Red team or green team? Humans in the center or forest giants on the far right? And of course, it matches with forest giants. So the odds of somebody pulling a hoax and getting the proportions exactly to match Patterson before the world even really knows about that? No way. So the RMSO guys and the military guys that film this, they will have no idea that the proportions of what they filmed, what they photographed, matches the Patterson Bigfoot all but perfectly, plus or minus 3% margin of error. And okay, so if we look at it and we see, well, its torso is a little shorter than Patty's, its arms seem a little longer. Keep in mind, I'm lifting these measurements from photographs. I can't have them walk into a room and measure them in person. So that's why I always say plus or minus 3% margin of error, to allow for just tiny little differences that don't matter. Because bottom line, does the UFO Bigfoot have legs 30% longer like we humans? No, not even close. So that thing has the exact same body proportions as a forest giant. It looks like a forest giant. Now, the thing is, it doesn't have the usual bulk that we're used to seeing. Well, we know that there are like skunk apes and things that are much smaller than Sasquatch. Or this could possibly be, a 12-year-old Sasquatch, 7-year-old. We don't know. Not every single, Bigfoot is going to be the exact same size, same bulk, no matter what its age is. So now, thinking of the entire encounter story here. I mean, if these guys are who they say they are, they're ex-military, possibly trained observers, who can prove them wrong? And instead of little green men, we're talking about giant furry ones. I mean, that seems counterintuitive to me, but what the heck do I know about anything like that, And I'll tell you what, based on countless eyewitness testimonies that say these guys literally vanish, and sometimes there are lights associated with them vanishing. Who knows? Who can prove any of that wrong? I sure can't. And going back to even indigenous Americans, they to this day claim that the big furry giants have magic, that they can be standing right there. You can't see them until they want you to. So who really does know? All right, everybody, that is all I've got. I thought this was, even though it was just photographs, I still think there's something pretty interesting here, and the fact that these things have the exact same proportions as the Patterson Bigfoot, that really tips the needle for me. What do you think? All right, everybody, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you very much. Thank you all.